This is Other Words for Home, Part 3, Chapter 20. In your book, it's on page 158. Winter arrives with a thud 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. Our teachers tell us that winter doesn't officially start until December 21st, but the snow outside tells a different story. At school, we all wear sweaters, turtlenecks, an American word for a clothing item. That makes me laugh. Hats, gloves. One day, the heater in the building of our school gives out, and we all keep our coats on inside. It feels like an adventure we are all having together. During Mrs. Ravenswood's class, Omar shivers. It is never this cold in Somalia. He is surprised that I am not bothered by the cold. Syria, I say, is a country with many climates. Everyone in the class seems surprised by this. I like being able to surprise people. In Mrs. Ravenswood's class, we practice talking about the weather. At first, I feel silly practicing with Grace. It is cold, you will need a sweater. It is windy, the sky is cloudy. But then I start to like being able to put into words the thoughts that are in my head. Grace feels the same way, she tells me. But do you worry that you're going to forget your mother tongue? It makes me smile that Grace calls Korean her mother tongue. That means Arabic is my mother tongue, and it is my mama's tongue, but I've never thought of it that way before. No, I say, because I've also never thought I would forget it. What word would you miss the most? She asks. I laugh and shake my head. I'm not going to forget a single word. And then Grace gives me that look that I've seen before on Layla's face, on Sarah's face, even once on Fatima's face. Like they're waiting for me to understand something they have already learned. I don't think you have to forget in order to learn, I say, making sure my English is perfect. Grace smiles at this, and I think she's as proud as I am that my English is getting better every day. 21. But news doesn't happen in real life. Bad news doesn't happen in real life the way that it does in movies. In movies, you are warned. The music gets scary, the sky goes dark, and you can see the shadows coming in. But on the day Mama tells me that Issa is gone, the sky is bright, and I'm happy because in math class, my teacher, Mr. Anderson, asks me a question in front of everyone, and I got the answer right. In English, in front of everyone. So when I burst through the front door of Uncle Mazine and Aunt Michelle's house, while I am beginning to think of as my house too, I am not expecting to find Mama waiting for me. In the chair by the big bay window, her face illuminated by the watery winter light. She stands up from the chair and hugs me tight, so tight that I swear I feel the baby inside of her kicking against her stomach. No scary music, no thunderstorms. This is my warning. What is coming next is going to hurt. She tells me Issa has left home, and when I try to interrupt her to say that I already know that, she interrupts me right back, her eyes flashing, stunning me into silence. She tells me that Issa has left to go to another town, one of those towns taken over by men who are fighting with the government and who are also fighting with people like Issa, ordinary people who only want to see Syria grow up into a better version of itself. Where? I ask. I want specifics. I need to be able to imagine him. There is a panic climbing up my spine, crawling into my chest. I feel like screaming, but I can't even open my mouth. Near Aleppo, Mama's voice is barely a whisper, but her words thunder in my ears. Aleppo. Even a girl like me, a girl who likes movies more than news, a girl who didn't pay much attention to what was happening, knows Aleppo is synonymous with war and death. Mama hugs me, and I hold her back. Sometimes all you can do is hold on. 22. I wake up early, tiptoeing out of bed before Mama arouses from sleep. We still sleep on the same queen size mattress. Aunt Michelle is always offering to get another bed for me to rearrange the room to make it more comfortable for us. I used to think that at any moment I was going to feel ready to sleep in my own American bed. But ever since I heard the news about Issa, I can't imagine not having the security of Mama's solid body there in the middle of the night. When my sleep breaks and I am filled with a terror of not knowing where I am or where I am going. I wrap my arms around her and I hold on. I hold on to that feeling of home. But in the early morning, I summon my courage to leave the sleepy security of our shared bed and climb down the stairs to the kitchen where Aunt Michelle is always already awake, nursing a big mug of coffee, staring out the window into the backyard where the trees have recently shed their limbs in a certain light. The branches look like snakes wriggling against the sky. Someday I'm going to be brave enough to ask Aunt Michelle what she is looking for. Until then, I am working on being brave in smaller steps. Opening my eyes and seeing and learning, Aunt Michelle has started leaving Uncle Mazine's newspaper out for me to read, and I comb through the articles that I know he has already read before me because his sticky jam printed fingerprints mark the pages. There's something comforting about the fact my uncle has read the articles first, even if he doesn't talk out loud about what is happening in Syria. Like my uncle, I am hungry to read every word I can about Aleppo, about the families from my country who are not as lucky as me, who are fleeing from towns that are under siege, taken over by violent radicals or by the government under the guise of stopping violent radicals. I read about how Europe and America no longer want to allow people who come from my country to move to their shores safely. I read about families stranded on shaky boats, trapped in refugee camps. I search every day for a mention of my brother, and I never find one. I search every day for a clue about why I deserve to be here in Aunt Michelle's kitchen, safe and fed, when so many others just like me are not. Lucky, I am learning how to say it over and over again in English. I am learning how it tastes, sweet with promise and bitter with responsibility. Chapter 23. The day before Thanksgiving, in every one of my classes, we are asked to talk about what we are grateful for. Mrs. Ravenswood explains that Thanksgiving is a time when Americans give thanks, THANKS. She breaks down the word for us into tiny pieces so we can digest it, think about it. Ben shares that he is thankful his father will have a long break from work soon, and his whole family is taking a trip to New York City. Grace smiles at Mrs. Ravenswood and says she is thankful for her English is getting better, and we all applaud her. Omar goes next. It takes him a moment to speak, and I wonder if, like me, he is searching for something to say. If he is struggling with how you can feel so lucky and unlucky at the very same time. I am grateful to be here, he says quietly. We all nod, because we all know that Omar is trying to say what he can't quite manage to say in English, what is almost impossible to say. We are lucky to be here when so many others aren't, but we don't understand the luck or why or how, just the luck. The better our English gets, the better we get at reading the newspaper articles, the signs, hearing the radio about how so many people don't want us here. Finally, it is my turn. I want to say I don't feel lucky or grateful because my brother has gone to a war zone and I don't know if he will ever return. But instead I say, I am grateful for my brother. I talk about him. I talk more than I am supposed to, but they don't seem to mind. At first, I think I want to tell them about how brave Issa is, how he is risking his life because he believes so much in a better version of his country. But then I think about why I love my brother. And I do love that he is brave, but I also love the way his whole body shakes when he laughs and how he can hit all the notes when he sings. Whitney Houston, and how when I was younger, he would put me on his shoulders when we were walking down by the sea, and I felt like the woman from the Arabic myth who can see so far into the distance that she can see the future. Mrs. Ravenswood helps me with the English words that I stumble on, and nothing comes out the exact way I want it to. My voice cracks more than once from sadness, from frustration that I can't say what I truly want to say. I do not have the right words to describe the space between my brother's eyebrows, that wrinkle when he is laughing or deep in thought. But in talking about him, in saying anything, even in my mangled, fractured English, I am imagining him, imagining and wishing and hoping that he is safe. Hoping. I'm starting to think might be the bravest thing a person can do.